So clearly here we're discussing, infinite spatial dimensions, like very clearly beyond that, even more. Not a physics-based spatial dimension. So all the 6D haters, guess what? Not a spatial dimension. Pretty straightforward.
What's up guys, it's me LumosTheromax, and today we're actually discussing the ongoing war against 6D scaling inside DC. So, for those who don't know or maybe live under a rock whenever it comes to DC stuff, which is totally fair, I mean you gotta be a pretty hardcore weeb to really be into this stuff, there's been quite a battle going on ever since Scott Snyder created the 6th dimension, and honestly this is what a lot of people use to downplay DC ever since Mr. Mxyzptlk became a more prominent character as time went on as well. I mean, 5th dimensional, 6th dimensional, it's got to be spatial in nature, right? I mean, time has a lot of importance inside DC, so a lot of people take the extremely easy route and just say, lol, it's all temporal and spatial in nature, even though there's clear evidence, despite that, pretty much through all the comics. So today we're here reviewing actually an older video of mine, which is a reaction to what was going on with fellow channel homie Imaginary Axis whenever he interviewed Scott Snyder. I'll get links to the original content of me covering Imaginary Axis's interview on my channel, obviously, but also I'll try and get his video link down low too, because it was an amazing interview and the guy deserves props for uncovering a gold mine of scaling for DC that seems to be like an untouched treasure trove of information that apparently just nobody considers for some reason. But it's important stuff, because who would better know exactly what's going on with the 6th dimension than the guy who created it? And Imaginary Access makes that interview happen, so ultimate W is going out to him. But what do you guys think? Are you a skeptic right here, right now? Do you think that everything inside DC is just spatial? Well, I hope you're ready to get yourself proven wrong, because guess what? The guy who created the 6th dimension disagrees.
I do think that's what really draws me to explaining some of the more fantastical things that we talk about on the channel sometime. Sometimes it's great to just talk about how strong Spider-Man is or something, but I really do probably have a fascination with the cosmic.
Yeah.
If we, can we talk about the 6th dimension for a minute?
Uh-oh, here we go. 6th dimension means, boys.
Sure.
It's this multiversal penthouse thing at the top of the map that you created, where sort of some of the most powerful entities in existence sort of coordinate things. I found it interesting. Modern string theory suggests there are actually 11 dimensions to reality. That's the magic number needed to sort of unify physics. And DC's stated that they have countless dimensions in the past, each one housing entities that transcend the previous worlds, like infinitely stronger gods.
So clearly here we're discussing, infinite spatial dimensions, like very clearly beyond that, even more than 11.
It's mind-boggling. But your 6th dimension is actually different, right? That's what I took from it. It's not a physics-based spatial dimension. It's more...
Not a physics-based spatial dimension. So all the 6D haters, guess what? Not a spatial dimension. Pretty straightforward.
More like an administrative layer that oversees everything below. And Mxyzptlk's dimension is similar.
Yes, and I think I lean into the models that you're just talking about as well, and that the last thing that we ever want...
So he leans into the model that clearly the 6th dimension is beyond any of the spatial dimensions and higher dimensions above those spatial dimensions.
Just to be clear, is reductive or constraining in our cosmology or our theology of the DCU.
So there you guys pretty much have it, and looks like the guy who created the 6th dimension says no, it's not a spatial dimension. In fact, spatial dimensions sit well below anywhere near the 6th dimension. The 6th dimension has higher dimensions located below it, all of which are beyond spatial dimensions as well, most likely talking about the sphere of gods, monitor sphere, etc., etc. It's pretty straightforward stuff for people who've been doing this for a minute and who can comprehend larger and more difficult stories to grasp with, especially whenever it comes to cosmology. Sometimes this stuff is tough, but if anybody has any doubts, if anybody is unsure, hey, why don't you point them towards this video or even the original interview with Imaginary Axis that he has with Scott Snyder, because hey, I'm not making this stuff up. This literally comes from the guy who created the dimension. So when somebody says 6D spatial dimension in terms of all of DC, just know that the guy who created that dimension disagrees with them. and that's pretty weak. Yo, that being said, be sure to like and subscribe if you managed to make it this far. I only make content like this thanks to homies like y'all out there supporting me. So become a member if you really feel like it's going to be worth your time, effort. Join the community as well. And even if you don't want to become a member, hey, I mean, there's a super chat down low you're always welcome to hit. And the subscribe button is always below you or on the right side of the screen from now on. That way I can keep people from jacking my content and using it inside their videos. But with no further ado, we'll catch you next time, Lanterns. Later.
Corrupting and creating events that affect the entire verse was the only way she theorized to decimate her source wall curse, and so she whispered madness to her child, the Anti-Monitor, driving him towards his revenge on his brother, the Monitor. A crisis on infant Earths is what he decided to grant, but her children were